Hey everyone, it's Sol again. This week's video is going to be another unscripted one, just, discussing lore things going on currently. So, we recently had the lore come out, where Rezael and Levidrus fight each other, and honestly, it went about how you expected. Like, if you watch the anime, it basically lines up one to one, very close. Rezael beats Levidrus, but there are some, big plot things going on. So, in terms of the fight between Levidrus and Rezael, there's a whole thing with Rezael. It also mirrors Akina's whole thing about trying to figure out what he wants or why he plays Vanguard. For Rezael, it's what does he want? And we've seen how he is. His whole thing was going around selflessly helping people and not asking for anything. And now he's trying to think of what he wants. And he finally had a selfish thought, that being Liael coming back and being with him. So there's that. On the subject of Liael coming back, so Amorta is an egg, right? She disappeared in the lore. So she's currently an egg that Liael Odium is carrying. And we see that Rezael preserved Liael's body, so it's not able to decay. So her body's perfectly preserved, right? And Amorta also knows how to soul transfer, or at least one of the Liaels knows how to soul transfer. There might be a possibility of a new Liael Amorta form. Whether it's how people think, Majesty Lord Liael or something else, there's a pretty good chance we might get a new Liael soon. Especially with Set 8 coming soon, I feel it's definitely going to be Rezael, Liael, and Youth. On the subject of Youth as well, using this to transition into that, we do know that the new support card that, just got announced for Rezael, I forget what his name was, but it's the Sergon replacement. He basically appeared and asked Rezael to go to the sanctuary to fight or train. And honestly, who's in the sanctuary that Rezael could fight? Who does this match up with in the anime? Youth. I feel it's gonna be Youth. So we might even see that Youthberg versus Rezael fight soon, both in the anime and in the lore. And I also feel Levidrus is gonna fight, Weisruger. I mean, it's not even a feeling anymore. As we know that Youth and Rezael are going to fight, that leaves Weisruger and Levidrus to fight, which also matches up with Kagetsu and Kuon fighting as well. So I think that's a pretty cool thing that could end up happening. Just, that fight going on. And we might see how that ends up going in the lore. Personally, both anime-wise and lore-wise, I don't see Levidrus winning. If he does, that's pretty cool. But, I mean, the way things seem like they're gonna be, I don't really think, they can make it. But that does leave us with, how is Youth versus Rezael going to go? Is Youthberg going to win? Is Raika going to win and leave both Akina and Rezael with something to think about and learn about and improve upon in the future? Or is Rezael going to win with his newfound resolve? It's really interesting because we can there are so many ways it can go with this, and depending on whether he wins or loses, that'll also be showing us how the Weisruger fight is going to go in the end. There's a lot that can be connected to with the anime. Mainly in terms of how the arcs line up. Obviously, I mean we have the whole thing with Blangmeyer and Artisaria, then we have this. It's definitely matching up a lot. And also, early on in the story that I'm reading this from, the newest mutant lore, a bunch of the Fated and Destined ones were on Lubetzal, Wostra's Flying Fortress. And so we get to see a lot of them interact. Like Alcalibra and Welstra are obviously friends, mirroring, their users. Then there's also the thing, the fact that Impalio was actually able to talk to them. He was talking to Luciafel and Chris Rain, and, talking to them, informing them about Artisaria fighting her and getting her. So, it's interesting. Now they know. So I guess, not only do the characters know from the fights that they watch, but also in the lore, the units are able to figure out, they're all talking to each other. And I guess having a council of fated ones and destined ones makes sense, They all have that sort of power, and I think it's like, oh yeah, they'll all be able to keep each other in check. But not in check, but updated. I mean, there's the fact that Chris Rain is really old and, has a bunch of knowledge. And then there's Levidrus, who is like that, but scaled up way more. And then, other people are more, they're important in their own ways as well. And then, Amorta, although she's not a person right now, she's an egg, and Odium has been carrying her around. And so, I guess what I want to hear your guys' opinion on is what do you guys think is going to come with Amorta's egg? Do you guys think we're going to get another form for her? Or is that egg just going to turn into support? If we do get another form with her, would you guys want to see it be more Majesty Lord Blaster-esque, combining Odium and Liael? Or would you want it to be a direct upgrade, where it's Raziel Vita, Levidrus Imperio, and I guess, technically, Blankmeyer Nexus and Varga Rakshasa kind of count too, because they're just a direct upgrade from what it seems. We'll see how Blankmeyer will end up working. I think, since he doesn't have the Fated One name anymore, I think he might end up being more like Rakshasa, where you only need one. Contrary to, the Two Kings, where you run a good amount of the original as well to activate the effect. So, who knows how, it'll be Fated Queen Liael Amorta and need 4 Amortas to slide into Soul, or if it'll be just a direct new upgrade version of her, where she doesn't even use, her main self as in main deck. You just use the one ride line, and then everything else you ride on top. Like I said, there's a lot of ways they can go with this. I think it's really interesting, and I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this. I'll try to upload the actual lore recordings next. But yeah, no, I hope to hear you guys say what your thoughts are in the comments.